Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning, where it's always morning somewhere. He's Chris and I'm Jen.
Well, why are you saying he's Chris? You should speak for me. You're a ventriloquist.
I'm Chris. And I'm Jen. Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning.
That's actually better. You're not doing the weird,
Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning. Your face. Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning.
I really
Welcome
do
to
think
Chris
that's your
and Jen
next
in the
career.
morning. Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning.
Where it's always morning somewhere. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jen.
Cartoon Jen.
Welcome to Chris and Jen in the morning.
Where it's always morning somewhere. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jen. We're excited to have you with us this morning. Afternoon. Evening. What time is it? I don't know, because, the clocks have changed.
Right. So is it the real time or is it the fake time? I only trust my phone at this point when time changes.
I would so have been on time for our session today had the world decided not to move us forward an hour.
Look, we love all the pieces and parts of you, Jen. The ones that are on time and the ones that are just a little delayed. So
It's not my fault. The world changed the time on me.
Right.
It's the world's fault.
I think it changed on everybody, not just you, though.
Well, actually, it did not change on the people in Arizona.
Oh, that's true. All right. So I amend my statement.
I'm pretty sure there are other people that don't participate. Like, remember when we worked with India and our time changed and theirs didn't? So we were sometimes 10 and a half hours different and sometimes 11 and a half hours different.
Yeah. That's why I'm thankful there's Google, so I can Google what time is it in insert location.
With your Google face.
That's right, with my Google face.
I loved, while I was in New York City last weekend, that I could just ask you questions that I could Google and you just answered them. Although I do that when I'm from here too. I just text you. And you're like, well, I Googled for you whether pistachios have protein or not, and here's what Google said.
I do feel like I attract a certain type of person in my life. Because you are not the only person who treats me like an encyclopedia and or Google.
First of all, let me just say that there is no one else like me.
There is not. You are an original.
And second, let me say I do the same thing to Ace. So you should both feel special.
Very, very special.
I trust you more than I trust the Googs. Can I call it that? The Googs?
I mean, you just did. Well, you are back in Texas.
I'm back, and we had a great time in New York. I actually went for work, but went a couple days early so that I could spend some time with you and Frank, which was just exactly what I needed. And I think it's hilarious that we had all these huge plans to just devour the city.
And tackle this place.
I was asleep by 9 p.m. the first day. After you guys so graciously said at like 8 something, Jen, I think we need to get the bed out. You've fallen asleep, girl.
Yeah, you were like on the corner of the couch. You were like yawning and stretching, and it was, you could just tell when some people are fading. And
I was like trying to get my second wind up.
I mean, I do think also, so when you got here, it was like beautiful outside. And then we walked over to dinner, and
Maybe it was the walk.
I think it's the food and then the walks, like all of those things combined. But so, like when we were in, like it was nice out when we walked over. Definitely wasn't the drinks.
Yeah, it was. And then it was cold when we walked back. And all of the planets were like out in
Yeah.
alignment. And that was like super fun to get to see. Your apartment has this amazing view of the moon. Can't take a picture of it from your apartment window because the screen is in the way. But I was about to dismantle, but I was too tired. But it's like this perfectly framed picture of the beautiful moon and the planets next to it, over the city skyline of the buildings. I mean, it'll be a picture that lives in my head forever.
That's right.
That I'll always wish I could paint, and then I would try and paint it, and it would look very abstract.
Hey, a
Like,
lot of people became very popular from making abstract art. So
yeah, this is the thing. If I just lean in to the abstract as opposed to trying to make it look like something real, it probably would be great. But I'm going to have to
can't
drink.
let go of that control.
Gonna have to drink a lot before I paint.
Maybe that's a new segment we should do: drink and paint.
I mean, maybe they have wine and canvas for a reason.
Absolutely, they do.
Because if you're not drinking wine when you're in that class, how are they going to handle all like 25 of you?
It's a built-in control system.
Is that why they're always telling me to drink more?
Could be. Maybe.
Could be. I'm the person that takes the does the wine and canvas without the wine online at home, and just pauses and spends 5 hours doing something that's a 30-minute segment.
Well, they do say, like, whenever you're creating art, like, you should really be like in a state of flow and not so much control.
Oh, is that my challenge?
It could be. I mean, I struggle with that as well whenever it comes to like trying to create a piece of art. Like, I want it to look very real. I want it to look very tight and nice. And that can actually be a big hindrance in the creation process, apparently.
So interesting. Am I ever in a state of flow versus control?
I would say the warm up into this episode, you were in a state of flow.
I was in a state of flow. Okay, good to know. It can be done. It can be done. But while we were in New York, it was you're often in New York.
I mean, I do live here, so I'm here quite a lot.
Well, while I was in New York visiting you, we did have a really good time, even though we kept it super low key. I actually think that was one of my favorite parts of it, was just to kind of relax instead of trying to devour the city. We don't, even though he's listening, don't tell my husband I said that, because he's gonna tell me we need to start traveling differently. And I don't think that applies to like most experiences. It was just this one time. It's a one-time deal.
And he was not here to experience it.
Well, it is how I do the beach, but otherwise, typically, I just want to go devour the city. But I'm just gonna keep saying that. I don't know why.
Sound like King Kong coming through. Jen's gonna devour the city. I don't know what that was.
What was that?
I'm in a state of flow. Don't try to knock it.
But we went to so we recorded on Sunday, as is our typical routine. And so for those of you following along, today happens to be Sunday as well. Of course, you probably caught that with the time change conversation. And then we finally made it out into the world at like 2:30 or something. And it was like, I don't know, a freezer outside, below a freezer. So I think my freezer is like at 30 or something. I don't know. What do we keep our freezer at? I don't know. Anyways, it was like 12 degrees. I don't know. I think the wind chill was 16 degrees.
Yeah,
I did not bring a coat.
Cold.
So you graciously lent me a coat and a scarf, and we managed to walk ourselves up to the corner and feed ourselves. So we had lunch at, is it Sole Luna?
Yeah, Sol Luna.
Sol Luna. In Sunnyside, which I love.
Yeah,
Stay
we
on the
so
sunny side, always on the sunny side.
um I always forget I have to like pause so that Jen can sing that song after she says Sunnyside.
Every time.
Um, so we had been there. So we've lived over here for many years, and you all have visited us several times. But I feel like we spent more time in Queens this time around than we ever have before.
Yeah.
Um, and so Sol Luna is really good Italian food. Has been around since even before we moved here. And the food just has never disappointed there. It is always really, really good. Even
Yeah.
like something as basic as the bread and olive oil that they
Oh,
give you
the
to
the
start.
olive oil they have is like on point. It's delicious. I was like, where are the seasonings that go into this? And then I was like, never mind, I don't need any. That was delicious. They have like a real legit bar with real legit bartenders making real legit drinks, which often you find, the pre-mixed kind of,
Right.
So that was fun.
Not there.
And I had the gnocchi al tartufo.
Yeah.
So like truffle gnocchi. It was delicious.
We
it was
all
so
took a
good.
bite off of your plate because it was so good.
Yeah, I was really sad to leave half of that food behind, but also I know myself and I resisted the urge to say, give me a box that I'm then going to cart around the whole city until I finally throw it away. Like that whole cake experience.
That's right.
So we
So
did
you're
let it go.
learning. See, it's personal growth.
We did let
But
it
we
go.
did start we started the meal. They brought out
with some
bread
meatballs.
and then also with the meatballs that were like covered in the marinara sauce. That was just so good.
It was delicious. Yes. So we did get some protein in there. You had what? So you ordered an egg carbonara from the brunch menu, and I was expecting pasta.
So was I. I was very surprised. I even have gone back and looked at the menu to see, like, did I miss how it was described? I did not.
It was
a
sandwich. It was a beautiful plate.
Yeah, it was like an open face sandwich, but it was really, really good. I mean, I think I ate only half of it because of all the other pieces of bread that I ate. But it was very good. Yummy.
To eat all that bread and then have pasta, fine. But to eat all that bread and then have more bread, no.
No. That was just too much. It was too much. But super, super yummy. Frank got the pappardelle al fungi, and then he added chicken. So basically, it was pappardelle noodles with
the little
mushrooms.
Bow tie, right? Pappardelle is the little bow tie pasta, I think.
No, it was the long, like thicker noodle, flat, thick noodle, and I only know that because I have a picture.
Okay. I was gonna say it was good, but I didn't taste it because it had mushrooms in it, and
he liked it. He said it was really good. Neither of us tried it because we're not mushroom people.
He did, but it looked like he actually took all the mushrooms and put them over onto the side of his dish.
I wasn't paying that much attention.
I don't know if he ate them, but they were all gathered on the side.
Maybe it was too much mushroom.
Well, to be fair, any mushroom is too much mushroom. I mean, truffle all day.
Mushrooms, not at all.
Truffle all day, mushroom no way.
Love it.
That's the saying, so you can't argue with a rhyme. Can't argue with a rhyme.
You sure can.
Then once we had eaten our fill and had our beverages, I did have like a really delicious beverage. What was it? It was like some strawberry vodka situation, and it was basically mostly vodka because I recall I just had the one drink. But I recall as we were walking out going, I feel a little bit tipsy.
But I mean, it's the real bar. So I think also when they had like poured it, it was poured in like different layers. Because I remember like you took the first drink.
Yeah. Oh
right,
yeah.
You had taken the first drink and you were like, whoa.
And then I had to stir it up. It was delicious though. I would have that again. I need to figure out, I need to remember what it was and figure out how to make it. or how to convince somebody to make it that lives here, because it didn't seem that hard, but it was delicious.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
So that kept me warmish as we walked the 12 steps to the corner and waited for the bus. And then we got on the bus in Sunnyside, and we took that to Lick.
That's right. We rode all the way to Lick.
Long Island City, Lick.
That's right.
And we caught the E-train to go to Manhattan. So that was fun.
It's always a joy to ride on public transportation. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I don't think we had any entertaining. I mean, we entertained ourselves, got our little new microphones out and our wooden spoons, and did a little cameo, which I think entertained the people sitting around us.
Oh, for sure. I think we either entertained them or they were like, what is wrong with these people?
I mean, or both,
all the things.
Or both. And we had decided that we were going to take in a museum. I've never been to the Met for all of the times I've been to New York City. And I love like art and a good museum usually. And, then we were like, wait a second. Okay, so we left the house at like 2:30, get done eating at like 3:30, head into the city. Like the museums, by the time we get there, are open for maybe an hour. And I don't know, it's like $7,000 to get into a museum in New York. So that seemed like a silly thing to do. So instead, we took a left turn and from MoMA and went into the MoMA store, which was entertaining. There were actually a lot of people.
A lot of like unique, interesting things.
But it's not what I expected for an art museum store. It was like just stuff.
Well, so they have like the gift shop type thing at the actual MoMA itself. We were across the street from that at the museum store, and so that's probably why it didn't look very like
it's like stuff,
yeah.
Like tchotchke stuff and dishes, and you would not let me buy the set of a dozen rainbow colored steak knives.
I would not.
Which
I do not trust you walking around the city with steak knives in your possession.
Felt like was a mistake that we did not buy those. There were like plates, and there was this like book light thing that was actually pretty cool. But like, I mean, I know for sure you can find that for like 80% cheaper on Amazon because I found it.
But then you don't have the story that goes along with it.
Well, you have the story and also the cheaper price.
Finding it there and then finding it cheaper on Amazon. Although we did get a really fun video of Frank opening the book and like feeling inspired.
He, by the way, looks so freaking dapper in that hat. I mean, just adorable. Like that hat and that coat and the scarf. He's just a little cutie.
Glad I married that man.
I know. Like, it's very photogenic. We both happen to marry very photogenic people.
We did.
I don't know why we did that. Like, why aren't you supposed to like marry somebody who photographs less well than you so that you look great next to them?
Look, the things that I'm looking for in a partner
that was not one of them.
Looks better in a picture. Low on my priority list.
Well, clearly it was low on my priority list too, because he looks way better in a picture. And you catch him with a candid smile, and he is all the time just like so photogenic. And then there's me, like,
you're like, oh, it's picture time.
How do I naturally make the weirdest face possible?
Fear. That's all I see in your eyes.
Oh my God, it's coming in now. Always have to think about it.
I think the most unique thing like something that like has stuck with me as I've like thought about like all the things that we saw there was they had the Snoopy Walkman, like a
Oh
real
my God.
tape Walkman.
But why with the retro orange padded head, like metal headset thing, and it was $100 for that thing.
Yeah.
Like
Well, so
nobody even sells a cassette tape to play in that anymore.
Well, and so we had thought that maybe it was because it had the Snoopy
Yeah, but they had an
stuff.
unbranded, uncollab one, and it was also $100.
Correct.
Who is paying for that? What is happening?
Someone with a very large tape collection that they've been dying to listen to it.
I did find you a bag strap for your bag I bought you that has way too short straps.
Yep.
But we decided not to buy that at the museum because I was like, dude, and that is très expensive for a bag strap. We're
So
going
we
Amazon
foregoed it.
We foregoed it. We foregoed it. Yeah, I loved the booklight. I loved all those little miniature things. Those little miniature buildings that you put together. You know, they had a bunch of those.
Oh yeah. Like not Legos, but they're like the just miniature models that you can.
Yeah. You put them together. But you know, if I bought one of those to do them, you know that I would get like 10 minutes in, and then I'd be like, okay, now I'm bored. And it would remain in pieces, cluttering up my space.
So we forgo we
foregoed that. If it's a 10-minute activity, then we're good. If it's beyond that, then that's why I say I knit scarves, and what really I knit is a bunch of pot holders.
One of my favorite memories of us is you showing me the stuff that you were knitting. You just kept guessing pot holder, and you're like, no, it's supposed to be a hat.
Scarf.
No, it's supposed to be a scarf.
No. I have never endeavored to knit a hat because that requires like roundness, and like I can knit a long straight shape. So anything from like pot holder to blanket. But if it's a blanket, it better be for like babies. Yes. I did knit a baby blanket one time, like a little itty bitty, like baby doll blanket. Which just speaking of dolls,
oh my gosh, I was about to do that too. That's a perfect transition. See, we were both going to pick it up.
Look at that. I left it right there for you. And then I picked it back up before you could even
just snatched it out of my hands.
While we were in the MoMA store area, we went over is that Rockefeller that we were in?
So that's where we ended up, where the entrance to the American Girl doll store is like the next block over, and then we walked through that to get into Rockefeller Plaza.
So, yeah, we walked through the American Girl doll store, and given that I didn't have a little girl, I remember when I was young, the American Girl thing came out. I feel like I don't know when it was created, but it was like these little books, and then they just had sort of the dolls and the like main dolls. And I didn't have a doll, but I did have some of the books for Samantha, the Samantha doll. And then it's become this thing over time, which I saw as we would like go shopping and stuff with Alex, but we never walked in there because like Alex had no interest in the American Girl doll store. So I would just kind of like walk by and do the stare as you walk by, like longingly looking. Oh, I kind of want to go in there. Like the inner child in me is very interested. So this is the first time we got to go in.
For any of us, none of us had been in it before. So that was fun to get to experience it together.
It was. And what I realized is I have been missing out. Like I need to borrow other people's children who are interested in these dolls so that I can just go walk through the store.
Or what you could do is those could be the gifts that you start giving. So that way you get the experience of going and like building, putting together, like.
I'm really sad that my niece has outgrown that phase of her life because I want to spend more time in the American Girl doll store.
I mean, unless she has explicitly told you that she has outgrown it, maybe you still try.
No, you like dolls. No, I'm telling you. I realize you're in middle school. I realize you're almost in high school. I realize, but you like them. Don't ask questions.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome. Yeah, no, that was fun. There was like this whole, I'm sure that the store in the Rockefeller Plaza area is like probably one of their biggest display stores. So sure. Now that will be my expectation every time I come upon an American Girl doll store, and I will be disappointed, I'm sure, because it was enormous and there were so many displays set up of these dolls just living their best life. And I just wanted to live my best life just like these dolls were. And I remember the like sleepover. Well, they had a few sleepover displays. Yeah. One of them was a bunch of the dolls having a pillow fight. And I have been telling my husband that girls do not just have pillow fights and fling feathers into the air during sleepovers for years. And that display sort of took validity away from what I have been saying. And it made me go, wait, have I been doing sleepovers wrong? Is it me?
Have I been getting it wrong this whole time?
Did I miss out?
We should have had a pillow fight while you were here. Okay, next time we're all together, we'll have a pillow fight.
We should have recreated all of those scenarios. Yeah, so they did have another where it was like this big canopy bed and then like a whole sleepover set thing. And that looked ridiculously fun. They also had a doll for the doll.
They had
like so you could buy in a little miniature American Girl doll for your American Girl doll.
They have obviously figured out like how to create an entire world for the dolls, so that way the children want to continue to add to and build on. Like,
Chris, being a collector, they totally marketed to people just like me.
Well, and to the children, because as we were leaving,
I've been a collector my whole life. Like, they were marketing to my inner child.
They called out to you.
Yeah,
I just love, there was like that family that was leaving as we were kind of walking through the store, and all the little girls wanted to carry their doll
in their little backpack.
Correct. And so they have like the little cutout so the doll can see through, but it also says American Girl all the way across the backpack part of it.
Dolls have feelings too. I used to, when I was really little, I used to have I always had a lot of stuffed animals growing up, but I used to, when I was really little, I used to have all these stuffed animals that they would all sleep in the bed with me because I didn't want to hurt their feelings if somebody didn't get to sleep in the bed. And so I would like line them all up. They took up more of the bed than I did, this little twin size bed. And it's like 90% animal and like 10% little Jen. And I would kiss each one of them goodnight because I didn't want to just, give a goodnight kiss to one of them because the others would be jealous. And then I would rotate them through who got to sleep where. Because dolls have feelings, like stuffed animals have feelings,
So what I'm hearing is that the anxiety thing started early on in childhood.
You could call it thoughtfulness. It was very considerate of my stuffed animal's feelings.
Very true. You're very thoughtful of inanimate objects.
I have been telling you for years that I was born like this, so.
And you further prove it every time we have conversations.
I am who I am.
That's right. We don't want you to be anyone else.
That's right. So we went from the American Girl doll store. Why we went to like all the children's stores, I don't know, but we did. We went from the American Girl doll store to the FAO Schwarz store, where I decided promptly that I would love for Frank to become the soldier at the FAO Schwarz store, because he is so photogenic, and I just think he would make a great a toy soldier in like real life size. So I'm gonna buy him one of those costumes for Christmas. Just wait.
Oh, I'm excited to see him open that.
I think he would totally like. I don't know. Now he knows. Now he knows. So it's not a surprise. But I think he would totally lean into that. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like the calling for him.
No, I don't know. I'm not saying it's the calling. I'm just saying, like, I think he would put that on and like become the soldier for a minute.
In that case, he can be at your house. I will send him your way.
I mean, you're missing out. So it was like so busy. There were like,
oh my gosh,
10 billion people all in that one little store, and they were probably in there because it was like 50,000 degrees below zero outside. I mean, it's freaking cold. But
1 or 2 degrees off from that, probably, but very close, very close.
I'm basically very close to the actual temperature there. It was quite chilly outside.
But it was very chilly, but that is also, I think, the only Build-A-Bear in the New York City area. Like,
no, that can't be real.
I believe so.
Well, it was like, what was the right? Jellycat was right next to the Build-A-Bear in the FAO Schwarz, I think. And I was looking at all of those adorable little stuffed animal Jellycat things going, oh my God, those are so cute. No, Jen. No. So we didn't go over.
No.
We didn't go over and look at any of that. But they were very cute. Yeah, there were like drones flying through the FAO Schwarz store, and like it was a whole.
They have a lot. Like they have the magician section. They have the little like toys and trinkets like drones.
I mean, I almost put a hat on, and I thought you were about to die.
Oh my gosh, I would not have allowed you to put that on your head. If you did not stop when I said stop, I would have reached out and grabbed it.
You'd like tackle me.
Because you would have had the aha moment after you put it on your head. And then you would be distracted the whole rest of the time we were out and about.
So I'm just realizing that me putting the hat on, your fear of that was not really about the hat being dangerous for me, and was more about my external spiral process.
Correct.
Of what if the hat.
I was trying to take care of you emotionally.
This whole time I've been like, I mean, really? Is it that big of a thing? Like,
I would not have put on that hat, to be very like, not because of how I would have reacted, but you don't know who else has put that hat on. Like, I
mean, you won't put the hat on, but you will sit in movie theater chairs in New York City.
Yes, but I'm going to watch a movie. Like, I don't want to stand for an entire movie.
But like, don't you think movie theater chairs have like more of a likelihood of like being germy or bed buggy or something than a hat? We should stop this conversation because I'm going to ruin movies for you and you're going to hate me forever.
Look, it is the delusion in which I live. Denial, the place I like to call it.
No, I can get on board with that. I know my crazy. I just accept it. I accept it. I make
okay, so we were in the store, and not kidding, like so packed with people. At one point, we just were like all standing, and you're in the way. Like no matter where you stand, you're just in the way. So we all look at each other and we're like, "Do you feel done? I feel done. Let's go."
I'm definitely done. Like,
so we don't even go back to the front of the store. Like we go out the side.
Can we just leave? There's too many people, and I am not used to being around people that are shorter than me. But I was like one of the tallest people in that store.
You were very tall.
I was very tall. I'm definitely in the top.
You were a giant amongst the customers.
Like the top 30% for sure. Okay, 40, top 40%, top 40%. Some of those children were probably taller than me.
It's a cliffhanger? Ah, no. Join us tomorrow for the pulse-pounding conclusion to Little Jin in the Big City.